Graphing equations with a graphing utility. Most graphing calculators require similar techniques to graph an equation. The equations sometimes have to be manipulated so they are written in the style of y equals whatever the equation may be. The TI-84 Plus and many other calculators, makes, and models have a mode function, which allows the window, the screen for viewing the graph, to be altered so the pertinent parts of the graph can be seen. So for example, the equation y equals 2x minus 20 has been centered in the TI-84 Plus shown in figure 8a. In figure 8b, the resulting graph is shown, and notice that we cannot see on the screen where the graph crosses the x-axis. Now the standard window screen on a TI-84 Plus shows that x is going to be in between -10 and 10, and that y is going to be in between -10 and 10, and this is figure C. So let's go ahead and do that on the calculator. So I have the TI-83 here. I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to put in an equation. So I'm going to hit y equals, and then I'm going to put in the equation 2x minus 20. So I'm going to put in the value of 2, and then the button here you can press is going to give you the variable x. And then we're going to subtract minus, so don't put the negative in there, put the minus number, and then 20. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to select graph. Now when we select graph, you can see that it's located over here. And so what it's saying is, in part C, what we want to do is we want to change our window so that we can clearly see this graph a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to select window as it states in the title up here. And we have -10, 10, -10, 10, 1, and 1. So it has everything that we need in there. So therefore, when we go ahead and graph that, that's going to show that graph. Now, if we change the window then to show more of the positive x-axis and more of the negative axis, we have a much better view of the graph in the x and y intercepts. So what they mean here is that if we then select the window, and now we're going to change the x minimum to be -5, and you want to make sure you use the negative symbol if you're using this calculator, and then we're going to make the maximum for x to be 15, and then we're going to leave the scale at 1 for x, and then for the minimum for y we're going to put in -30, and then for the maximum we're going to leave it at 10, and then leave the scale at 1 and the resolution at 1. And now we're going to select graph, and then we're going to see what we see in part B. So as you change the window scale, then it allows you to be able to zoom in on a graph to see it a little bit better. In this case here, we can see where it crosses the x and y axis. Now, this isn't the only place where we can actually graph. So if you do not have a TI-84 or TI-83, what we could also use is Desmos. Okay. Now with Desmos, you can see here that I have it up on a browser. You can put in Desmos, and if we put in the equation, I'm going to click in the box and I'm going to type in the equation 2x minus 20. And so you can see here that I've graphed it. Okay, and then what we can do is if we want to scroll in a little bit better, if you want to see the graph a little bit clearer, we can just use our scroll button and go down to minimize this, or we can extend out, or you can use the buttons up here. You can use the positive to zoom out, or you can use the negative sign to zoom in. So this is another way of being able to use a graphing calculator online.